Since we have completed the first half of learning photography on YouTube, I thought it is time for a break, a little break, like a spring break. So we will take this week off. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how I took and edited one of my favorite photos, which is this photo. This photo, table for two. So if you are into landscape photography, long exposure photography, editing in Lightroom, or food and wine, this video is for you. Welcome to my channel. Here we talk about photography, and I make videos just like this one, where I share how I take and edit my favorite photos. So if you're here for the very first time and you love photography like me, it might be a good idea to subscribe. Before going into how I took my table for two photo, I want to share with you an idea. You know that I like to see this channel as a community, and I would love to create a space where people from this community could share their photos, and myself and the rest of the community could see them, possibly leave constructive comments, and basically support each other. And since for the photo challenge that we do on this channel and for the photo assignments of learning photography on YouTube, we have been using Instagram, let's stick to it. So I thought, what about if we create an hashtag dedicated to this community? So when we post a new photo on Instagram, we can use that hashtag. And if the people of this community will follow that hashtag, everybody will know when we post a photo. So everyone can see each other photos and participate with constructive comments and support. What do you think? Sounds good, right? So now we need the right hashtag. And of course, I'd love if you could support me in finding the best hashtag possible. So free your creativity and write in the comments below your suggestions. In a week or so, I will pick a few hashtags and possibly make a poll on my Instagram story. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, for photography, so you will not miss that. Cool? Cool. Every photo has a story, and table for two makes no difference. It's Sunday afternoon in November, 5 years ago. I look at the weather forecast and it seems that the coast could have a nice 50% overcast with high clouds and calm winds, which can be really great conditions for beautiful light at sunset. So I decided to drive to Mavericks, this iconic big surfing spot off the Northern California coast. As a surfer myself, I was curious to explore that part of the coast and possibly come home with a few nice shots. I never thought that I could surf there anyway. The waves are far too big for me, and I think it's a little too sharky for my taste. I drive an hour and a half and I get there. I'm super disappointed. It's foggy. It's really foggy that I'm not even able to see where the waves are actually breaking. So I take this photo of the jetty just to take a photo, and I'm ready to walk back to my car and drive home. But then on the way to my car, I see two red chairs in the front yard of a house. The house lights are on, so I buzz and ask permission to take the chairs to the beach to take a photo. The lady looks at me like I'm a strange person, which maybe I am, but she grants me permission. The sun just set and there is a very nice blue-gray light, so I thought that the two chairs would look awesome in the water. I tried different settings, different exposure lens. At the time I didn't have my favorite 20mm lens and I was using a Nikon 24-70 f2.8 on my Nikon D800. And then finally I find the right composition, the one that really works, the one that I like. 35mm focal length, f8, ISO 100 seconds exposure using a 10 stops ND filter and a 3 stops ND grad to darken the sky. Over the last 5 years, people told me that they see many different things in these two empty chairs in the water. But as far as I'm concerned, I see my parents staring at the ocean. My mom is laughing at my dad's jokes, and they're happy forever. What do you see? And now let's move to Lightroom, where I will quickly show how I edited this image. Shall we? I have created a copy of my raw file and we can start editing this photo from scratch together. So let's open the develop module. I can see already that my horizon is not straight, so I will open the crop and straighten panel and just clicking on auto, I can see that my horizon is now straight. I will not change the aspect ratio of this photo. 3:2 is the aspect ratio that I'm using for this photo for my prints. But of course, in the thumbnail of this video, I cropped the image with a 16:9 aspect ratio. Let's close these and move to the basic panel, where immediately I will change the color profile to Adobe Landscape. And right after, since I used a 10 stops neutral density filter, I need to take care of the white balance. Because as you know, neutral density filter often give a color cast to the image. So I will change the color temperature to maybe 16,000 and also add a color tint to, yeah, something like that, 72. Now that I'm happy with the white balance of the photo, I can go in and work on the exposure. And as a first thing here, I will reduce my highlights. I will increase my shadows quite a bit. I want to make sure that the red of these chairs will pop in this photo. And I will now open up the histogram of this image a little more. We know that we can hold down the shift key and double click on whites and see where we end up. Let's take care of the blacks. Hold down the shift key, double click on blacks. I'm at 48. I might go back a little bit because I see that my lower left corner is a little too dark. I will now increase the contrast of the tone curve, selecting a medium contrast. Let's open the hue, saturation, and luminance panel for a second. I want to increase the luminance of the reds in order to make sure that my two chairs will pop as much as possible. I will also increase the saturation of this red, and I'm very happy with it. You can see before and after. It's subtle, but it's there. Split toning. I would like to add to my highlights a bluish purple tone. And was this too much? And here I have it, just a tad. And I will keep my shadows in a blue hue. There. Let me open the detail panel. As usual, I will reduce the radius and increase the detail. I can now increase a little bit the sharpening, maybe to a level of 50, and by holding down the Alt key and moving the masking slider to the right, I want to make sure that my sharpening will only affect the chairs and the horizon. So as you can see, whatever is white will be touched by the sharpening. Whatever instead is black will not be touched. There. I did forget to remove the chromatic aberration and enable the profile corrections, because usually this adjustment happens while I import my photo. Nevertheless, I do it now. And the last general adjustment that I want to take care right now is a post-crop vignette. -7, midpoint maybe a 2, roundness 25, 26, and I will feather all the way to 97. And this is it. These are all my general adjustments. And as you can see, the result is not too far from the final version of this image. But let's go into some local adjustments now. In my opinion, the sky is still too bright compared to the rest of the scene. So I like to add a graduated filter. And I will drag it down from the top, holding down the Shift key in order to keep it parallel. I will select the mask overlay so I can see that the area that will be affected by this adjustment is red. And I want to add a range mask. If I want to make sure that this adjustment will only affect the brighter area, I can choose the luminance mask and move my range to a level of maybe, in this case, 50 or 60. I'm at 62 right now, and you can see that the sky is still red, but the mountain here on the right is not red anymore. And now that I'm happy with the mask selection, I can deselect my mask overlay and apply the adjustments that I like. So I want to reduce the exposure of the sky. You can see that only the sky is basically affected by this. I want to increase the contrast, reduce the highlights. I want to reduce the blacks, and I will add some dehaze. I will now apply another graduated filter, this time from the bottom. So I will hold down my Shift key in order to keep it parallel, and then I can move it where I want it. In this case, I would like to add some shadows. I want to see more. Maybe a little bit of clarity. Maybe a touch of exposure. Maybe also a touch of contrast. And in order to give a little more depth to this image, I would like to add a little bit of sharpening to the sand here on the right bottom corner. So with the adjustment brush, I will add clarity and sharpness, and I will just paint this area a little bit. That's because I want to see this sand coming out a little more. And here we have the final image. Before, after, before, after. What do you think? And this is all for today. Next week we will be back with episode 6 of Learning Photography on YouTube. We will talk about the histogram. Don't forget to suggest your hashtag in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if this is the case, hit the like button, leave me a comment, share this video with your friends, and if you didn't yet, maybe this is the right time to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.